I just had to quit skating and start writing mortgages and
There
home
you go.
loans.
You didn't skateboard here today?
I did not skateboard. No, but I do have a gift. I'll bring it to you next week for your son because I am the only bank or banker who has cool Mortgage Punk stickers for your skateboard.
Nice.
Many of you guys have been watching my videos now since, I don't know, beginning of time, it feels like. So we were talking,
Since social media
February
started.
of 2021 when Troy and I kicked it off. So
right.
you see all of my face, but it's all of Troy Trussell's handiwork.
Yeah.
I've jokingly said he does the hair, the makeup, and the wardrobe choices. So if you don't like it, message him. Don't message me.
I'll take all comments, all messages.
But no, so Troy Trussell with Trussell Media is here today, and Troy is my video guy.
Yeah, thanks.
So you get to be in front of the camera today.
This is his work of art. So everything you're seeing on the camera, week in, week out, he put it together.
Yep, his
the colors and
podcast
all.
room too.
Yeah, Trussell Media Studios, podcast studios right here. Yeah,
I like your brand color.
I do
Troy.
too. I like yours.
Yeah,
it's
we
good.
We have a mutual love for
red and black.
red branding.
Yeah, for sure. If you can't see his shoes if you're just listening, but
Oh, here it is.
he's got some red Vans on that are pretty sweet.
I have to point him.
Those are pretty sweet.
Does the ballet point.
You know, we got our
never do
son.
ballet.
Our son is like really gifted in sports and everything, and he picked up the skateboard a year ago, and we bought him some Vans for Christmas. He didn't like them.
Austin wasn't huge about some of
That's
that too.
interesting.
He's just like, I mean, he still has
But he
some.
loves skateboarding.
Yeah, he's really good at
he's-
it. He's really good at any sport that he wants to play. So, but we thought, man, skateboard, Vans, those just go together, right?
I don't think that when I was younger, I don't think I liked them for the way they felt when I tried to do tricks.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple other skateboard brands that, have a different feel, I guess, than Vans shoes.
So they're only
Yeah.
for fashion.
I guess so.
I like them now. I just had to quit skating and start writing mortgages and
There
home
you go.
loans.
You didn't skateboard here today?
I did not skateboard. No, but I do have a gift. I'll bring it to you next week for your son because I am the only bank or banker who has cool Mortgage Punk stickers for your skateboard.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
he'll
someone
stick it
shot me
right
a
on.
picture. I did a home buying workshop for first-time investors, and one of the investors shot me a photo of his 7-year-old, I want to guess he was probably about 7-year-old son holding his skateboard with a Mortgage Punk sticker on the bottom. He's like, my son is a Mortgage Punk fan. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
we are about to spin out Mortgage Punk for kids.
That's awesome.
Home ownership at an early age.
At 7.
Learn it
That's
young.
7 years old.
Get it
Don't
going.
rent, folks. Just buy early, right?
Understanding why your mom and dad owed a home and how much money they're accumulating by doing that.
Yeah.
Love it. So, Troy, it's great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
What a great idea to put Troy on this podcast who shoots these things every week. But he's got a business. He's got a media company, Trussell Media, located downtown in Wichita. So,
Downtown.
Troy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your life, your background? Are you from Wichita?
Yeah, so moved to Wichita in 2011.
11.
From Shreveport, Louisiana. I grew up there in Louisiana.
Okay.
Lived there 30 years.
Have you ever seen the movie Waterboy?
I have. And there are people that talk like that way down
There
south.
are.
Yeah, there are. So I grew up in Shreveport, which is in the northwest corner. It's basically Dallas culture.
Okay.
In Shreveport.
In Louisiana.
There's still some Cajun up there, but it's not.
It's not Ragin' Cajun stuff.
No,
huh?
it's not like deep,
Who's the
deep
Ragin'
south.
Cajun? Do you remember that
That's-
name? Is that a WWF wrestler? The Ragin' Cajun?
Cajun.
Was that?
I
You
don't
know what I'm
know.
talking about? Remember, that was before MMF.
That's your new alter
It was
ego.
WWF.
I was never a big wrestling
Well,
fan.
neither was I,
So-
but I just
but
remember it.
The
Hulk
Raging
Hogan.
Cajuns, I think that was Lafayette. Or the
Raging
Raging
Cajun.
Cajuns, maybe.
No, maybe that was on a Karate Kid movie. But I think everything's on a Karate Kid movie. Raging Cajun. Who? Rocky? Is that a Rocky reference?
No.
No, I don't know. I can't remember.
Whatever.
But anyway, if
you're from Louisiana.
Yeah, so Alexandria is the city that's right in the middle of Louisiana. And if you live above, north of Alexandria, you're basically a Yankee to the people that live south of Alexandria.
So Louisiana is divided between the north and the south.
The north and the south.
And it's like the east and west Wichita.
Right. Yeah.
They're not squinters. They probably have some other name.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was in a fraternity in college, and we used to have this party every year. We call it the North and South Party. And if you were in that fraternity,
was there some rough play?
There was some rough play. If you were lived north of Alexandria, you were on one side, and if you were south, you were on the other. And it was usually split about 50-50.
One wore blue and one wore red. Is it like, Biggie and
yeah. But yeah.
And there was a war.
Yeah.
There was always some kind of split like that. But it was all fun and games back then.
Now, does your family still live in Louisiana?
I have some family there. My parents moved up here about 5 or 6 years after we did, because we kind of followed my sister up here because her brother-in-law worked for Johnson Controls back then, and they transferred him up here because they used to have a plant in Shreveport where they made car seats for Chevy trucks, I think, something like that. But they moved him up here before that plant closed down, and he worked there for a long time. But we weren't necessarily
siblings. It sounds like you have a close family. You have a close family?
We have a very small family, and pretty close to my sister, always have been, and didn't necessarily want to follow her up here, but I put resumes out to Dallas and some other big cities because I was in an advertising agency and wanted to go to a bigger city. My wife wanted to move to Dallas because that's when we met.
Similar to, you said Shreveport was like
Dallas culture
of Louisiana.
Yeah, and when my wife and I met, she was living in Dallas, and so she wanted to move back to Dallas, and it just wasn't in the cards. Felt like God was leading us to Wichita, because I put resumes out to Wichita just because I knew they lived here, and so we had a 1-year-old, and we thought, they have a 2-year-old, so they could grow up together, and they're really good friends now. But I got positive feedback from Wichita. It's the only place I got positive feedback on my resume. Yeah.
Was it because there's food trucks here?
Probably not at the time.
And art?
Really, the food scene wasn't that big in back then. Yeah, I think,
that was 2011,
you
said? Okay.
So I think when what year was it when the Wichita flag started? Like, everybody started going crazy over the Wichita flag.
Like 17
or
16.
16 or 17, somewhere around there. I feel like when that happened, like quickly behind that, the food scene started getting bigger, and now it's huge.
And the art scene down Douglas and all of that stuff. I mean, all of that's been recent in the last decade for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really great. I love that we picked a city that it's a great place to raise a family, and there's just good culture all around. I mean, there's all kind Mexican festivals, Asian festivals. There's all kinds of festivals, beer festivals. Yeah.
Now, you might have to tell your son that we definitely don't have as big and cool of skate parks as some of the big.
That's true,
Dallas probably has skate parks.
He doesn't have anything to compare it to, right? So they always wanted to
go.
Ignorant
right now.
Yeah, they always want to. Exactly. Have you ever been to that one under the highway?
Yes, downtown.
Yeah, that's the one they love to go to.
Yeah,
so
probably that's the biggest deal around here. Well, I
Yeah.
promise, don't tell your son, but if he goes to Denver, Colorado, or any place like that, those skate parks, if I grew up there when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have gotten in so much trouble.
Or you could have been living life in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Or
Those
that.
things are crazy.
Man, he'll just drop down in that big pool, and I'm like, dude, I don't. So, quick story. We were out front at our last house, and they were on their skateboards. So I have 5 kids. He's number 2.
You do?
Yeah. So we have a daughter and
5.
then 4 boys. He's
Wow.
number 2.
You have a daughter and 4 boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
She came first, and then the boys came after her, and he's number 2, so he's the oldest boy, and he's really good at all the sports, like I said. So all the little brothers want to be just like him, right?
Yep.
So they all had skateboards, and we're out there, and I'm just like messing around. I'm literally just standing on it. just trying to, and I could do
trying to balance.
I could do like a little
in static
in-place
motion.
ollie, and I could get, about a foot off the ground.
That's pretty good, Troy.
Well, I did one, and I was standing there, and something distracted me. And all I did was look up. And the next thing I knew, I was on my back
on the
ground. And I let out like just pain.
Oh, God.
And I was laying there, and all the kids are like looking at me. And a neighbor, like 2 houses down, yelled at me. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I just lifted a thumbs up into the air. That's all I could do. And he was like, "All right."
I was watching a little Tony Hawk this morning.
That's right.
I had Wheaties.
Yeah. Man, it hurt. That's
Tony
the last
Hawk
time
is
I've
like
been on
50
one.
years, 60 years old. Crazy. Tony Hawk.
Oh, yeah.
And he still does nuts. He's still nuts.
So what marketing trends are you seeing that your clients are having a lot of success with?
I tell all my clients to volume and consistency is the key thing. But like we were talking about before we hit record, there's always little tricks and things that you can do to kind of up that ante. Like what we were talking about earlier, just there are ways that you can invite people that have contacted your pages to where they'll get a little invite to say, "Oh, would you like to join Live Local?" or whatever. So there's just always little tricks that you can find within the platform, within the apps. The thing is, you just got to get in there and dig around and see what they've changed.
So what do they need to be doing consistently?
I would say post reels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were to do a consensus report, right, on everybody that's posting or everybody that's on their phone at night in bed.
That's what they're looking at.
And ask them what they're watching, they are watching video.
Right.
Short video.
Short video and the content of reels.
It's kind of the new TV.
It is.
Like you don't watch Matlock. You remember that show? Or Dallas anymore? You watch Facebook Reels of some roller coaster ride.
And even like Netflix, I noticed they're going to release one a week now. Well, that kind of ticked me off. I'm like, if I want to watch a whole series of shows, I just want to binge it all at once, right?
I'm bad about that.
And Netflix used to be the one that was like, we're never going to do that. We're always going to let you binge. Nope, they changed their story just
everything's
recently.
Changing.
But yeah, I mean, not to throw my wife under the bus, but we'll be laying in bed watching a show. She'll also pick up her phone and scroll. I mean,
I'm that way. David's always mad at me about that.
Yeah, so I get on to her about it every once in a while. But like, come on, put the phone down. Let's hang out. Let's watch something together.
Let's chill.
Yeah, but I feel like that a lot of people do that. Whether you're on TikTok, because TikTok really changed the game. They're the ones that started the whole thing with
focus on video
with short reels.
Shorts.
Yeah. Instagram, Facebook have the reels, and then YouTube has the short shelf. I think you need to be on all of them.
Mm-hmm. In different ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
each platform has its own.
Well, you can put the same content over all 4 platforms. You can even add vertical content to LinkedIn. If you're a business to business, you should definitely be on LinkedIn. And a lot of people don't take that advice. They just think, that's for talking about business stuff. But well, if you are a business, you need to go talk about your business on LinkedIn to other business professionals so that they can see you.
I definitely don't see as much video content on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And the ones that do stand out. The ones that do really stand out, and they create a following with that. So yeah.
Good information.
Reels, verticals, make shorts. That's what you need to be doing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've definitely seen that with our production.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe kind of that it's created a little bit of a life of its own. And I can take several days off and it's still like just recirculating, or somebody will comment on something from a year and a half ago, and all of a sudden it's got this whole new life and I'm seeing all these other comments on it. I mean, it's just created this evergreen catalog of randomness that has come out of my face.
Yeah. And I would say the question for you and another tip for people is commenting before you got to the subscriber count that you're at right now. when you were a little smaller, it was probably a lot easier just to go in and personally comment
Yes.
to every video. Do you think that helped?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely helps with the algorithms, and they're watching, and they even will give you an alert that you have, this many comments that you haven't responded to. And some of them are just like, there's really nothing that you need to respond to. It's just like, congratulations. And I guess you could go in and say thank you, but
Yeah.
it almost creates a full-time job. I mean, when you have as many as what I'm seeing now, it's just, and some of them you just don't even want to respond to. But
Right.
we've had plenty of behind the curtain conversation about the haters, and once you get that bigger following, the rest of your supporters, they'll gang up on the haters for you. It's
Fun
almost
to
like,
watch, probably.
yeah.
Yeah. But I did a video one time like, thank you haters, because you are telling the algorithm that you want to see me more and that my stuff is working. So bring on the hate.
Bring on the Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
No, that's what is so funny, because I'm like, if you don't like the content, just scroll, because if you comment negatively, now all of a sudden, congratulations, my face is in your feed.
Exactly.
I mean, over and over. So you're welcome.
Yeah. So to those people that are just starting out or have a smaller channel, I would definitely say,
Engage.
when it's small, you've got to engage the content. Like, I'll throw myself under the bus. I threw my wife under the bus earlier. Sometimes when we're watching a show, I'll pull out my phone and I'll just go, reply to comments. It'll take me a couple hours, but I'm in there doing it and replying. So,
well, we would read them in bed. Like David and I would be sitting there and enjoying a cocktail, and we have one of the, old people adjustable beds. And so we're sitting there and we just kind of make like eat the popcorn cocktail comment. And then there comes a point in the night, David goes, okay, let me have your phone. You've
You're
had
done.
enough to drink,
You're done.
and you're not commenting anymore. Because
That's
I mean,
good.
some of it, it's hard to swallow, and it's not productive or anything else. And it's
There's
just
some
like,
mean people out there.
they just
Oh,
didn't get
yeah.
enough hugs as a kid. They didn't wear parachute pants, or they weren't like
You
Ben, where
needed
their
to wear
mom made them the
Vans
sequin glove
and
or
get a
something.
skateboard
But
or something like that.
Yeah.
And find an outlet.
they didn't smell enough of the good markers as a kid or something. We were talking
right.
about this earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't know what people's problems are, but it's their problem. It's not mine. It's just an outward reflection of their suck.
What do you want to do in 5 years? Where's Trussell Media in 5 years
In
from
5
now?
years,
What's it look like?
I would like to be the producer of things and not so much being in a
technical.
technician role of everything. And so I'm starting to see, as we grow, I'm starting to see more of that coming to fruition, hopefully in 5 years. But yeah, I've got a part-time person that works for me. She is usually here handling the podcast room, but she couldn't be here today, but that's all right. We got it taken care of.
So you're modeling traits of an entrepreneur there, because an entrepreneur can usually do almost everything in the business,
Yep.
but not everything super well, right? And eventually you
Right.
unload it to other people who are experts in
Even
that
if you can do
Yeah.
it well, it's
specific
still just not what you need to be focused
arena.
on to
Or-
take your
or-
business to another
yeah.
level.
Yeah, and there are things I can't do well. Like admin stuff drives me crazy.
paperwork.
Accounting, QuickBooks. I've got a bookkeeper that helps me with that, but I as a business owner, you have to learn the numbers. You gotta see where the money's going. You gotta see what's happening with it, what's coming in.
Whether
So
you
I
like
know
that,
it's a
whether you like it
necessary
or not.
evil. I love looking at the numbers. I just trying
like to
to
put it together.
If they're
understand
up.
them is exactly. If they're up, I love it. If they're down, it's like, oh my.
I don't wanna look
gosh.
at this.
Right.
Next.
Yeah, can you do this for me? Yeah. So, but yeah, just
So you wanna be
continued
producing.
growth.
You're more creative.
Right. I want to be like the creative director in 5 years, helping other employees with the work. Just kind of be the business, not the business owner yet, because I feel like the business owner can step out of the business and watch the business run. Right. I don't
what
think
you want.
That's what I
That's the
want
goal.
eventually. I mean, that's the goal. Because I want to produce something that later down the road, hopefully I could sell Trussell Media in 10, 15 years and
Retire.
somebody
Run it itself.
retire and somebody else have a thriving business that they can make money off of, right? And help people spread their story to the world, because that's what we're doing.
Have you read The E-Myth?
I have, yeah, and that's where I got that.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic book.
If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, read The E-Myth. You need to read that.
Will definitely.
If you're a small business owner and you're trying to figure out why you can't get higher, think about Business Coach and The E-Myth. Read The E-Myth.
Absolutely.
So what's one of your favorite projects that you've done?
I've got a few ideas.
Leslie's Reels.
Leslie's Reels for sure. Now, your Reels have been a fun project because I've liked seeing the growth that we've created.
Because the numbers are up.
Because the numbers are up. Everybody likes to see the numbers when they're up.
Troy, I need my numbers up.
That's right.
So let's visit after this podcast.
Volume and consistency. And, tricks, commenting, all that stuff. But yeah, favorite project. I love the Live Local stuff. I haven't mentioned that. The Live Local stuff that we do, it's fun to do. It's bringing light to local restaurants and local events. It's all about the Wichita area, and it's all about food. I love food. I love to eat. And so we go around the restaurants, we review them, always in a positive light, even if the food sucks. Sometimes that happens. Most of the time it doesn't. I mean,
You're like, that one piece of lettuce was awesome on that burger.
Everything else, yeah. We'll say stuff like, the chips could have been crunchier, or, things like that. We don't really want to throw anybody under the bus. And honestly, if the food does suck and it's pretty bad.
Maybe you should.
Well, sometimes
privately.
We'll go privately and talk to the people of the restaurant and say, we were going to do a video about this, but here's our card. You want to call us, have us back out when you step up your game, do it a little better. But yeah, we're not out to really throw anybody under the bus. We're out to promote and help. And
so we always ask this question when we wrap up the podcast. But who would you recommend we bring on to the show that would be a good candidate for Prairiepreneurs?
Well, there's a couple of people that come to mind. Do you guys know Luke Luttrell?
Nope.
He owns Next LED, which is a sign company, and they're nationwide. He's right here in Wichita.
He started the business, and it's now a national
business. They sell
operation.
LED signs nationally. Yeah, he would be really good one.
Idea.
I mentioned Jason Garraway earlier. He's a very colorful human being. I think he would be a
very
great person to be on your show. Those are
We've had some colorful people on this podcast. There's no doubt.
Chris brings this intensity. These people come in and they're just like, all right, real focused. And mine are like,
everyone's colorful, just in a different way.
Yeah, another one I just thought of. Matt Amos, he's a good friend of mine. He's on our podcast, his Hard Headed podcast. He's on it, but he is a Marine veteran. He is an entrepreneur, owns 2 of his own businesses, like a beard oil company and something else. But he'd probably be good.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, he'd be a good one to come on. So, yeah.
Any other final comments or questions?
Go 80s.
Go 80s. Beastie Boys. Go get the tape. There's no tapes anymore.
Okay, final question. If people wanted to contact you, how do they get in touch with you?
TrussellMedia.com is the best place. Or you can call me, text me. Open
What's
line
the number
of communication, 316-755-6052. It's on my website as well. Pretty easy to get in touch with. So.
And you cover, what's the spectrum that you cover?
Trussell Media is a full service video production company. We can produce anything from, commercials, reels, like I was saying, and podcasts.
Social media,
so
commercials. Is very. Do you have more? Do you feel like you have more of a business focus?
Yeah.
In other words, you're not trying to shoot a Beastie Boys video.
No, we don't.
Oh, we should do that.
I mean, that would be a lot of fun, but don't do much with the music industry. But we can. Yeah, we like working with small businesses or businesses that make 2 million plus. I mean, we can work with the big ones, and we can work with the small ones. So.
Cool.
And if anybody wants to watch your food reviews and your festival reviews on Live Local, where do they find that?
Yeah, if you just search for Live Local on any platform, you'll find us. And if you're watching,
Local.
that's the logo on my shirt there.
He's wearing his brand.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
did.
That's what I do. I got it all
I
over.
wore my brand too.
I've
It's
got
my
red
face.
everything.
Leslie's always wearing her brand.
That's true.
That is your
That's
face.
right.
I mean, I firmly believe that,
You are-
especially as a real estate agent.
Well, and especially with your social media success, it's definitely just you. All you have to do is see Leslie, and you'll know.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Troy.
Courtesy of Troy.
You're welcome.
So, me on the other hand, I don't know yet.
You're still working on it.
I just like red, and I like to wear hats and Vans shoes. So,
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Troy.
being on with us
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
And I'll see you next week for the rest of our videos.
the next
Let's do it.
round.
We've got our TV show and we've got our reels coming up in the
and I
next
got to come
couple
back
weeks.
from
That's right.
Dallas, quick, fast, and in a hurry
Yes.
for next week. So,
No speeding tickets.
see ya.
Bye.